Hello, this is Johnny. Mars, Ace. My wife went to dye her hair. I saw it was very weird. No matter how you look at it, it has a magical old school makeup look. But she's very happy because of this new hairstyle. Since she's happy, what more can I say? In the evening, I went to the gym. She went shopping. While I was on the treadmill, she suddenly sent me a message. She said she wanted to cry. And at first, I thought the client had made some unrealistic requirements or something like that. But she actually said, because I'm fat. I guess she must be crying on her end, but I'm laughing on my end. Since the incident in her hometown, I've been worrying about her emotion, and I've been waiting for the day when life's trivial troubles before the incident will once again become the main theme of her daily life. Because when she is in the mood to worry about these things, it means the things worth worrying about, things that might happen in her hometown and with her mom, basically isn't a concern anymore. She didn't come home until I finished taking a shower. When I came out of the bathroom, she was sighing in front of the iPad, playing games on her phone while listening to the news, occasionally yelling in surprise because of something in the game, and even cursing in Ukrainian. Seeing this, I knew the lively cutie Kalina from before the incident is finally back. After reviewing my homework, I saw that it was only 8 p.m. and I saw that there were still 4 hours to midnight. I had a full 4 hours to watch American TV series and play games, and I feel so happy. I was lying comfortably on my favorite lounge chair, watching The Expanse and gradually entering bliss. Just when the plot was about to make tears trickle down my face, Kalina suddenly came over and told me to pause the show and ask me, "You know that today is March 8th, International Women's Day, right?" When I heard the question, I was dumbfounded, but I said very calmly, "Of course I know, but you have always been a little girl in my heart. The word woman makes me think of my mom. It doesn't make me think of you at all." Of course I knew this reasoning sucked, but my on-the-spot wisdom can only get me this far. She didn't care about what I said at all, and she widened her eyes and said to me while kicking my feet, "Your excuse is really bad, you know." I said, "No, I'm being sincere." She started to kick me harder and harder and kept saying, "You jerk, you forgot about Women's Day." Let me tell you, it's really easy to forget things like this. In the life of an adult, when you are busy to a certain extent, the calendar on your phone just becomes something to remind you of your work progress. I've been forgetting my own birthday for several years in a row, and I personally think that holidays are not that important. As they say in the well-written awesome lyrics, when you meet the right person, every day is Valentine's Day. So I think every day is Valentine's Day for Kalina. Also, I have experienced on several occasions when I have prepared surprises for her on holidays, and it resulted in her rolling her eyes. Therefore, it has lowered my alertness. But with that said, I really shouldn't forget things like this. But the fact is, I did forget. After saying "you jerk, you forgot about Women's Day," she sighed dramatically and went to bed to lie down. To be honest, her sigh was a little too dramatic, which made me suspect a little bit that she was up to something. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. And when you need to retrieve your losses, you just retrieve your losses. In Sun Tzu, The Art of War, as swift as wind, as gentle as forest, as fierce as fire, as unshakable as mountain. In times like this, you can't say anything. At least not before you have come up with a decent save. The more you say, the more mistakes you might make. And then you might lose the opportunity to save. So based on Sun Tzu's Art of War, I got up from the sofa with a poker face, walked to the bed, and casually helped Rosie untie her ponytail, and went to sleep with Rosie in my arm like nothing has happened. Silently, I started to contemplate strategies. As smart as I am, I thought of a rescue plan, which is, on March 14th, the so-called White Valentine's Day, surprise her with a gift, send Rosie to my mom's, and take her out for a perfect romantic evening. The main line I'm going to use is, "Actually, on March 8th, I forgot it on purpose, because then you will feel kind of lost and anger. I did this to divert your attention. As you know, for the last few days, you have been really restless. I have no choice but doing this. So this way, I can supplement my fault, whether she believes what I say or not. The result is undoubtedly going to be better than me scrambling to get her a gift on the day. And you will definitely be more dramatic, more memorable than that." I handle romance like a pro. Mars, nice. That night, after designing on a recipe plan, I started to think, What gift should I get her? I got up the following morning and saw that Apple has released the new iPhone 13 Pro in green. I was a little hesitant to buy it for her. But actually, I wanted to get her iPhone 13 when it first came out. But she said no. She said the new video motion blur function looks really fake. Apart from this function, iPhone 13 isn't really an upgrade on iPhone 12. So I bought her a handbag with the money I had planned to buy iPhone 13. So getting her an iPhone 13 is out of the question. And I can't get her earphones either. I've gotten her AirPods Pro before, even with the words Dear Kalina engraved on it, but she lost it after 2 weeks. After that, whenever she went to the gym, she would take my earphones. In the end, she lost my earphone as well. Because she was afraid of losing earphones again, she started to buy those very cheap earphones. So far, she has lost 6 or 7 pairs of those too. When it comes to giving gifts, I remember that when I was in my early 20s, a girl who had a thing for me was celebrating her birthday, and everyone else had prepared gifts, which made me feel that if I didn't get a gift, I would come across as stingy. But I had no money at that time, so I came up with an ingenious plan, getting her a book for her birthday. It had to be a used book, and I would tell her how many long nights I've spent reading the book again and again. And I was giving it to her, hoping it would also accompany her through the long nights. By doing this, a gift with monetary value would turn into a gift with spiritual value. But at that time, I was already using Kindle. So the books I had at home were Romance of the Three Kingdoms, The Magic Blade, Car Repair for Dummies, and things like that. It would be weird to give a girl books like these. So I went to a second-hand bookstore and I found a book with a somewhat literary title. I flipped through a few pages and saw that the plot was basically about things like you love me, I love you, you hate her, but you don't actually hate her. Seems like a younger Latin likes to read. So I bought it and gave it to her. After several years, I ran across the girl again. She was very surprised to hear that I got married and I had a kid. I asked her why, and she said, the book you gave me back then was a love story between 2 guys. So I saw you are too, or inclined to, guys. True story, so it's best to be honest. With the joy of this memory, I opened my phone and asked my colleagues if they wanted coffee. Of course, only Mimi replied in time. Before I went downstairs to work, I thought Kalina had made a delicious breakfast. I asked her if I could have a bite. She said no. I guess she was still upset about Women's Day, or deliberately showing anger. But either way, you will make the excuse I prepared sound more sincere or persuasive on March 14. What do we call this? This is called the rational use of fate. In the words of the ancients, man follows the earth, earth follows heaven, heaven follows the Tao, Tao follows what is natural. This is simply God's help to prepare an extremely romantic evening for me. Thinking of this, in order to make her more emotionally prepared, I pointed to her breakfast and said, I will just have 1 bite. Without even looking at me, she shook her hand. I said, if you're gonna be like this, I'll post it online. She just said whatever. So, I'm gonna post it.
震惊！知名女博主竟做出这样的事。
After I finished work that day, I felt very satisfied and I was laying in my bed. I was a little bored, so I wondered whether I should go downstairs and have a little drink by myself. After reviewing my homework, I was about to go down to be alone for a while. I met my sister downstairs. In fact, every time I see her, my happiness will go up a little bit. I have 2 sisters. The older one's personality is a bit threatening. She moved to another city when she was young. She learned the local dialect and various strategies. Now she has a good life. The younger one is the one I met downstairs. Her life is very simple. She just goes to work and goes home to cook after work. When she sees everyone enjoy her food, her face just lights up with smiles. When I was young, I looked up to my older sister. I felt that her ambitious life was wonderful and worth living. In my state of mind at that time, I felt like my young sister's life seemed a bit empty, lacking ambition, or maybe just too simple and not exciting enough. A bit waste of our limited life. But I don't see it that way now. As I get older, I found that this young lady's heart is actually quite peaceful. And I couldn't buy inner peace no matter how much money I earn. It's an extremely high level of living. So in the past few years, I have often used her life as the standards to measure my own life with. Because through her ordinariness and contentment, I can easily see the nature of many of my troubles, which is actually imprisoning myself. Of course, I still have no idea what to get Kalina, but you can't rush things like this. because I know I can create a perfect evening. March 10th. In the morning, I posted the last video. When I walked into the studio, I found that Mimi was posting bullet comments about himself. Things like, oh, Mimi is so handsome, I want to kiss Mimi. People just like to fool themselves like this. As if those bullet comments were there, and his wishes will come true. At noon that day, the fast food restaurant had escaped our hungry stomach for half a month finally opened. On the way there, I knew that Mimi and Bao must have been playing for peanuts in their minds, in order to preserve their brain cells. I just said, come on, don't be coward. Let's just be over it. Mimi, do you want to pay for a meal today? He obviously didn't expect I would be so direct. After he froze for a moment, he said, let's split the bill. I said splitting the bill is okay. He suddenly said after taking 2 steps, or maybe you can start a poll, make a status update, and see who everyone thinks should pay. I thought about it for a bit. This is actually okay. Because I presume that everyone will vote for Mimi to pay. This way, I can save 18 yuan, which is $3. But the result was everyone voted for me to pay. Mimi was so happy that he almost took off from the ground, and he even ordered a dish exactly like mine to mock me. While eating, he said, wow, free meals just taste better. After eating, just when I was going to pay the bill, I opened my status and wanted to take one last look at the cruelty of life. But who knew the polling result had completely been reversed? Mimi crushed all competitors with an advantage of 401 votes. I immediately ordered another dish and ate another bowl of rice.
怎么说？
For the meal, Mimi paid 55 yuan. On the way home, I ran into my mom on the road. She was wearing leopard print. Even her shoes was leopard print. I thought it was hilarious, but she seemed pretty confident. When I got back to the studio, but I suddenly thought, if me and my mom were matching outfits, how would that look? Then an image started to appear in my mind, and I burst into laughter. I found out that I have mastered the ability to make myself happy. After I finished my work, I went home. While I was meditating in the bathtub, Karina suddenly walked into the bathroom. She saw me sitting in the bathtub, sneakily hesitated for a bit, and walked out. I asked, what? She said, I wanted to talk to you. But it's a serious topic, so we will talk about it when you get out of the bathtub. I said, it's okay, I'm serious now. She walked up to me, signed, and said, you forgot about Women's Day. You have to make up for it no matter what, right? Then, don't worry, I've already figured out a way you can make it up to me. As soon as she finished speaking, she held the phone in front of me. It showed a product page, a pair of Gucci shoes. The price is 6,500 yuan. Sure enough, she was up to something. Of course, I told her no. I said this is too expensive. I don't have a lot of money at the moment, but in reality, of course I'm gonna buy them for her. And she will be so surprised when I give them to her on White Valentine's Day, when I'm having a romantic dinner. So the more realistic I reject her, the better the surprise effect. Originally, everything was ready, except the gift. Now the choosing of the gifts has also been taken care of. But Valentine's night is gonna be a night to remember. I had planned to wait until after the 14th to write down my thoughts about buying the gift and having a romantic dinner, film some clips, and then make this video to share with you. But when I thought about it last night, it didn't feel right. First of all, when I'm so serious about going on the date with my wife, and I suddenly turn on the camera, she obviously wouldn't be 100% herself. This would ruin the moment, and ruin what should have been romance in its purest form. Not to mention, true romance is indescribable. Now that date hasn't happened yet. I don't know exactly what's going to happen when I sit in the restaurant, when she's sitting in front of me. So I'm looking very much forward to it. Just like when I was a kid. I was so excited I couldn't sleep for several days before going on a spring trip. The date is sure to happen, but hasn't happened yet. My mind is full of beautiful expectations. A date in your mind is the most romantic date in the world, isn't it? Now, I'm sharing this certain feeling of throbbing in my heart with you. I hope you can also feel that happiness. And click the like and subscribe buttons, and share this video with those you love. 你形容我就是这世界上无与伦比的美丽。嘿呀，嘿呀，我知道你才是这世界上无与伦比的美丽。天上风筝在天上飞，地上人儿在地上追。哦，你若担心你不能飞，你有我的草原。就是的，有吗？